Hi there, Serial Trader here. I got a request to have a look at crude oil and XLE, so I will just try and do a relatively quick update on them, as I think there's some opportunity in the works here. Alright, so crude oil, now off our crazy 2020 low there of negative 40 and change. Looks like we have a very nice impulsive sequence to the upside, and depending how you slice this up, you can look at it like this. And let me just get the symbols out here. You can look at this as like the 1-2, and maybe I don't know, the 3, maybe a running flat wave 4, and that as a 5 up for a completed impulse wave off the bottom, which means we're expecting a 3-wave correction, which we've already gotten, and it's probably nearing some level of completion here, but we'll go in on the shorter term time frames to examine that here shortly. So we might have the initial 5 up off the major bottom, and we're correcting that initial 5 up with like the ABC down. Let's see. I'll refine this once we zoom in there on maybe the daily or so. So there's that, or we might be able to consider all of this as an extended wave 3, depending how you want to count these subdivisions. We're teeing up the wave 4 here. So this ABC would be of one lower degree, and then we'd be looking for that final 5th wave up to substantial new highs, well above 130, and I would hazard a guess well above the 2000, I believe it was 2008 high of 147 or whatever it was. So there's that. Now if we go on the daily here on oil, and stop worrying about the overall wave count as much and just focus on the more immediate pattern at hand. So I remember back here we got this initial impulse wave down. Okay, and I was expecting some sort of 3-wave decline. Now this B wave really went complex and time consuming, which isn't so unusual for a B wave. But now that we failed to make a lower high, or higher high, we made a lower high here, and we've come down to make a lower low. That makes for a nice 3-wave decline, and I would suspect we're getting close to completing this C wave if we put on some levels here, some AC relationships. So we're right down near the AC equality level at 86.71. So far we've gone as low as 87.01, so that's pretty nice. So I would suspect we're probably going to find support here at or near these levels. Could go a little deeper. I mean, the 1.382 is down around 72. Then we got this former resistance level, perhaps to become a new support level if we go a little lower here, which is around 85. So I like this area that we're currently in. It's looking pretty good for setting up a new long entry as far as crude oil itself. And then, of course, the target would be significant new highs, well above 130 and likely above the 147 level. But too early to make some, more precise projections until we got some pattern development to the upside to go off of. But yeah, this looks like, your typical 3-wave corrective pullback after a nice impulsive sequence up. So oil, if you're just looking to actually buy oil futures or something, or structure some sort of oil-based trade, this looks like a pretty decent area to be eyeing up for an entry point. So that's oil. And XLE, I mean, it's very correlated to oil, but there's certainly times when it can deviate fairly substantially, at least for a time. Now, as far as XLE goes, not as clear as far as making the case for a completed impulse wave up, but you could, I suppose, manage to call this some sort of 5-wave up off the 2020 lows, and we're in the midst of correcting that. So if we go on the daily chart here, maybe even the 4-hour for just a little more detail on XLE, this looks like an initial impulse wave down. Okay, so if that's the case, maybe we got the initial A wave decline. This is some sort of B wave partial retracement, and we gotta tee up for one more leg down here in a C wave. Now, it is possible that oil could bottom before XLE and start going back up, and XLE could continue going down, especially if some general stock market weakness, at least partial weakness, sets in. Like if we partially retrace the move we've made off the June lows in the overall stock market, that could pull XLE down, even if oil itself isn't doing the same thing. So bear that in mind. But okay, so if we got this as an A down, and this is a B up, and it looks kind of decent for a B up. I mean, it looks like we kind of a up down up sequence. Looks like a ABC three-wave rally off that bottom we put in there, which so far was around 65.48. So it looks like we have a corrective rally off of that. Looks like we've already starting to roll over again. So let's just put up some standard, AC relationships for some potential downside targets and entry opportunity targets. Let's get this the way I want it. Okay, and so AC equality on XLE, as it currently stands, will get us down to around 50, so 50.83. 1 point through will get us down to 40. Let's see how 50 kind of lines up with prior structure here. Okay. Well, okay. That'd be a pretty deep one. That would be back to a prior support level here. And there's also the former resistance area we have around this level. Around 59 or 60. So, okay, I mean, for XLE, I'd be eyeing up the range of 50 to 60 to start accumulating a longer term, long position to just actually hold units of the ETF or even look at individual oil stocks, that compose the XLE, like Exxon and Chevron and that sort of thing. Once XLE is kind of in that, if and when we get into the 50 to 60 range, I mean 40 would be a gift, but if and when we get into the 40 to or 50 to 60 range, that'd be an accumulation area in my opinion, and probably something you could buy and hold, collect some nice dividends, and actually look forward to some substantial price growth as well. Good technical entry point there. All right, I don't want to go on too long here, but that's kind of my current take here on oil and XLE. I think some entries are setting up, maybe not quite there yet, but certainly on the watch list and waiting for that nice technical opportunity to present itself. Looks like it's closer on oil itself to me currently than XLE. XLE needs to do some more work to the downside for me to get more interested, but hopefully that's helpful. All right, Serial Trader signing off.